Okay, so a quick recap from last session because everyone, including myself, was exhausted when it ended. So you ended up killing pretty much everyone. Actually, let me go ahead and mark all these things as dead so that there's no confusion. And
There's
then
this lady in the bottom corner.
no, marking it dead. I'm not going back on my word. No. And when the battle was over, for lack of a better term, the upper torso of Cellar, because he was not in one piece anymore, had grabbed Drollin's arm and started basically rambling crazy talk, and it got more and more excessive, and then you all saw an image burned into your minds, and then that's exactly where we ended. So the battle is over. The half of Cellar has apparently died, and the ball is in your court from there for now.
Can I request that we see that image again?
Mm-hmm.
Because my tired, sleepy mind might not retain everything, and I would like to look at that picture again.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Okay.
Time to lower the axe and say, I really wish demons would stay dead after I decapitated them and disemboweled them and... Are you gonna stay dead now? Anything else? Are we done?
You don't even know the half of it. Finn, is dusting herself off.
I know this half.
Yeah. Really well, apparently.
Do know half of it.
So...
I should point out one quick thing, because I did not do a good job of it last session. When you saw that image, when it was burned into your mind, there was a feeling of terror that accompanied it. But it's important to point out, it was not as though you felt terror. You felt that this image had a strong sense of terror attached to it. So, because I didn't do a good job, I said you felt terror, and that's not exactly, there's a big difference there. It wasn't you saw the image and, oh my god, you're scared. It's you saw the image, and almost as if it's a third party or something, there's terror with this image.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
there you go.
Interesting.
Right. Before most of anything else happens after the battle died down, Cole is going to kneel and kind of put out his hands, sort of unsure, but going to have him outspread. And then I'm going to try my little orc heart out to try to feel any sort of magic flow. Something fairly similar to what I did when helping the gnome trying to open up the rock, trying to link magic.
Fergal, you mean?
Fergal.
So are you hunting for basically like his feeling or just anything or
He's fairly new to this. I don't think he can feel directly him, maybe, but what he's going to do is he's going to try to find a magic stream, probably what he did before, and either either link with it or just kind of see like if there is any.
Okay. This is going to be kind of odd. There's not much in your background that would work for it. However, I'm going to have you roll the same check you did when you helped Fergal, because your Daredevil background is what allows you to pick this up so quickly. So it'll be, I don't remember if we did Wisdom or Intelligence, whichever one works best, your level plus, basically, like I said, the same modifier for when you were helping Fergal open the ground.
Alright. To remind you for the modifier, I changed it to strength because I took a specific feat to have my magic link specifically with my strength.
Thank you for reminding me, and that works perfectly.
Okay.
Okay. You sense, after a good 30 seconds or so, picture your eyes are closed. Yet, even with your eyes closed, you feel like in the darkness, in the blackness, you see a very faint, glittery trail, which is this string or this magical energy that you sense as Fergal's. The thing that's interesting about it is that it is directional in the sense that it is coming from a direction as if it is trying to reach out to you. And it is getting weaker. Not a distance weaker, like the farther away the weaker gets, as in it is getting less powerful. It's losing its force.
All right. So I can sense this is directly Fergal's.
Yes, you can sense that it
All right.
is very, very faintly, but well, I will say that it feels like the energy you felt when you were dealing with Fergal.
All right. So knowing that this is Fergal's, he's going to try to attach his magic to Fergal's magic, like he did before.
Okay. You'll find it doesn't quite work like that. However, you will find that whatever you did, because obviously your character's still not sure of the details, whatever you did, you can still sense this when you stop trying. So it's like constantly there now. You can, like, it's one of those things like when it was in the corner of your eye, you didn't really notice it there, but once you noticed it, you can't stop noticing it. That kind of sensation.
All right. All right. So I got a direction now for some facet. I'm actually going to keep my eyes closed at this point, and I'm going to follow the line that seems to be attached to me. If that would be allowed.
I'm not going to stop you.
Right. For everyone who sees this, you just see Cole sit down, not particularly do anything, kind of waving his arms around like he's trying to feel something. He stops, and he's going to get up and walk in a direction.
All right. And while this was happening, Keen, you wanted to...
Yeah, while this is happening, Keen was slowly making his way towards cellar.
Okay.
Then he is going to be slowly, but assuredly, taking off his head.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to do.
All right.
Just making sure that this motherfucker is not going to come back again.
I understand. You remove his head. With
Alright.
several sinews and tendons with it.
Mhm.
Alright, so the rest of the party, you see Cole, I'm assuming silently, get up and start walking out of the room.
Well, Pearson.
Shit.
Cole?
I-
Just like Finn would just be talking to Pearson and then like seeing Cole like going away.
What do we want to do with Celine? Well, this can't
At
be the
this-
real one.
At this point, Pearson will nod. During this entire, what everyone has been doing, he's just been looking at her. It's a pretty grim look on his face. And he goes, I see it as only one of two things. Either this is actually Lady Celine, which means we have already lost. I have lost my family. And the, sorry, what's the elven capital name again?
The Sunset Tower.
Sunset Tower has easily fallen at this point.
Mhm.
Or she's not Lady Celine and she's a trick. Either way, I don't think she should be let out of our sight. And if we step through this circle, will it kill her? Will it
I
not?
thought the circle dissipated upon Seller's death.
Yes, actually,
Oh,
I
never
can
mind.
probably remove that. Hang on, give me a second.
Oh,
See if my GM
well
power is
then.
working.
that's what I get.
It's okay, Inferno. I know you were.
I was so. I'm much better.
Oh,
today,
God.
by the way.
Whoa!
Oh, God.
we lost our
What did
light
I do?
source, everyone.
What did I do?
We suddenly went blind.
I don't know what I did. I don't know how
They
to
turned
fix
off
it.
the light. Yeah. Just press Control Z. It'll undo it.
It
I'll just
didn't,
pretend the
though.
circle isn't there.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Oh, you have a blue glow. That was
Mm.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what I did. All right.
all right.
But yes, so pretend the circle is not there.
Drolin will actually look up from the fallen, now decapitated and urinated on demon and look up at Pearson and say, Well, from my understanding, Lady Selena has been rather helpful since you rescued her from Whitebridge. It's logically impossible, as far as I'm aware, for her to actually not be Lady Celine.
It's true, I suppose. It's a moot point.
Without
If
her, you wouldn't have known to crush the stone that the Lich King was using to control the dragons.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
What you said makes a lot of sense. So I just suggest before we leave the room, you should start talking. And he's going to look over to, air quotes, Lady Celine, close air quotes.
You notice, now that you're paying close attention, and Keen, of course, you would too, now that you're paying close attention, she is in a sitting up position, but she's not moving. And I don't mean, like, she's just not getting up. No part of her body, eyes, lips, nose, hair, hands, anything is moving. She's as still as a statue.
She's not blinking.
Not blinking.
Okay. I would like to grab her hand, if at all possible.
When you try, your hand slips right through. And when that happens, you hear from up here on one of the skulls, you basically hear a tisk. And in a rather high-pitched voice, you say, "Oh, dear me, I slipped up." And then when you all turn your heads towards that voice, you see something.
Question: did Cole leave the room?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Cole's
Finn.
leaving the room.
Yeah, Finn's with Cole, so she's not in the room either.
Okay. So you see this child sitting on the skulls, swinging his heels and kicking his feet, and he looks rather annoyed. And he says, "Unfortunately, after that fight, I seem to have lost my concentration, and well, I could start making the hag move now, but I suppose you wouldn't buy that, would you?"
No, kid. Why don't you come over here, huh?
And with that, he laughs and goes, "Oh, Pearson, you're such a distrusting sort. Of course I'm not coming over there."
Why not?
He just
Are you
kind of
afraid
stares.
it's because I'll strangle you until your eyes pop out? Because you'd be probably pretty right with that.
And with that, he would say, "Oh, Grumpy Pearson." And in his hands appears the severed head that Keen was holding. And he starts moving his lips. "I'm Cellar. I'm going to make Sky kill your family." Aww. Just tell you, though, you guys are so much fun. All right, fine. So Lady Celine didn't work. It's a freebie. See you guys around. And with that, it's as if he was never there. It's not even like he blinks out of existence. It's just he was there, and then he wasn't.
Okay.
Gotcha. Now I'm ready to follow Cole. Or try to track down Cole and Finn.
Well, first off, this is a hag, right? Can we just coup de grace it?
Oh, I'm sorry. She disappears when the kid
Oh, okay,
does.
good.
Yeah.
Then yeah, let's go. To Cole! Haha!
I should probably clear out as a GM. Those things you fought are not actually called hags. Those are just the monster I picked up. So when he said that hag, he was just referring to the visage of Lady Celine. I don't want there to be confusion. Yeah.
Okay.
Cole, wait up. Cole,
Yeah.
Cole, what are you doing? Where are you going? The others are still in there.
Cole is unresponsive and looks like he's very determined to walk in a particular direction, be it into walls or not.
Finn will follow, like, kind of with a confused look on her face, and Baby Junior's at her heels. Or at his heels. Someone's heels. I don't know. I
right.
can't get genders right.
With his eyes still closed, mind you.
Do the others get to us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
kind of sitting
following.
back and figuring out what you guys are doing. So
No, we're following.
Keen is following.
Yeah. I was going to follow, but if Drellin's still here, I'll hang back with him.
Drolin will look at where the kid was sitting, and then he'll look at Pearson and look back at where the kid was sitting, and back to Pearson. So I'm not exactly sure what just transpired here, Pearson. What was... Or, his body, his axe, lifts up, the body of, where Cellar, and then, he, drops it? What was
That-
this?
From my understanding, I think it was just an illusion, a trick. We've come across a few of them before in the past. We were also warned about that kid. That's one of the demonic lieutenants of Azael.
Illusion? That was extremely painful, given an illusion.
Yeah, so... It's no wonder that we were tricked, at least for a short period of time. Oh, I'm sure he has plenty more up his sleeve, but... More of a reason not to trust anything, right? I can assure you that I'm real, but...
I don't suppose the illusion body has, a scroll that says, "How to stop Mount the volcano from erupting." Chapter 1.
Actually, as you look at the illusion body of Cellar, it begins to fade from existence. However, the other things, the bats, the grabbers, as I call them, and the witches do not. But Cellar eventually fades into nothingness.
Well, I suppose that addresses the concern about whether Cellar had actually returned.
Yes.
This altar thing, I don't suppose it has a scroll "Here are where all of your friends are. You can locate the Dwarf King here at these coordinates." It's like one of those old Might and Magic games. You go visit.
Oh, man.
Sadly, no. It's a nice
in the
try,
old Might
though.
and Magic games, to be inside the skull. I check inside the skull.
Reach into its arms like Double Dare. It comes out green and slimy, but there's nothing there.
Ugh.
Okay.
Hold on. I can help with this. This will help you check inside the skull. And the altar there, the burning cold flakes, since Ardana still has the oil pressed upon it to have a deal elemental cold damage, comes searing into the altar as well as the skull. Where is my king?
The thing, not just the skull and the desk, are hit by the blow so hard that they don't break into two pieces. They shatter upon impact.
Well, maybe those were an illusion too.
Pearson just gives a shrug. Maybe.
Alright, well, not going to find my king here, or how to stop the volcano from erupting, or your little friends that you traveled with. Suppose we should... They don't have a torch, do they? No, we're still the ones with the torches, aren't we? Dron looks down. Pearson, yeah, let's go catch up.
The good news is if that they're fumbling around in the dark, it'll be a lot easier to catch them.
I like that. Let's go.
Okay. La 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 la.
Look, we never really left.
All right. You guys are welcome to actually leave. I mean,
Yeah, but
But-
I was following.
Okay,
I
no, I was
don't know
actually
where Cole's going.
right for
Yeah,
a second. I was sitting there going like, okay, I have to let. Oh no, they can just go.
Yeah.
No, because Cole's following something,
yeah,
and we
where
don't.
did
Right,
they-
got it.
I can't follow anything. 'cause
got
I
it.
don't know where to follow.
Sorry, it's going to lead you
Follow
out
the
of.
arrow.
In fact, I will tell you this. I will just start going this way. You will follow the trail all the way out of the tomb. It will go through the hidden door that you found to get there, so you bypass the front room again, and it leads you back up onto the streets. It still is strong enough for you to follow. However, you are finding out that the closer you get doesn't necessarily make it stronger. It's still losing its intensity. But you've gotten to the streets, and you can feel it heading off towards the... not the palace itself, but what looks like a complex connected to the palace.
All right. He's not going to be opening his eyes or anything. He's going to continue it until he cannot follow it anymore.
You're gonna be running into buildings then, because it's not like it follows the road. It's just a direct line.
So I see Cole run into a building.
You should have probably seen that throughout the entire temple of him
So
just
Cole's
kind of
just
bumping
running into walls and then kind of adjusting himself, and then he just keeps going.
Yep.
Cole, like every time, like he hits a wall, it'll just be like Cole.
Drolin will give a confused look at Pearson, like, who the fuck is this guy?
That would be a long, complicated answer in which Pearson sums up in a shrug.
So, should I take the assumption that you are all basically going to be following as close as you can where the trail is going? Like, you can follow the road, you're not going to lose it, you just are going to have to go, around certain
Well,
things. or
Cole's
through
the only
them,
one
or-
who knows that he's following a trail. Right now, I'm just following Cole because I'm
Right.
concerned with Cole. Everyone's just
Yeah.
following because.
Drolin assumes that the others know what Cole is doing. He doesn't really know. He'll
This
just,
is-
like, slowly clank behind him.
Clank, clank, clank.
Yeah, following Cole because Cole's onto something, and it's better than nothing.
I guess his senses are keener than most.
This is true. That is very true.
Drolin
Yep.
will accept this in stride.
As you say that, he bumps into another wall.
His senses were keener at some point.
Pearson will look to Drolin. I assure you, he can strangle a knoll extremely well.
I am sure that skill assists greatly here in Vamgalir.
You'd be surprised.
Would
You'd
you
be
Drolin-
surprised what needs strangling, Drolin.
Cole,
you guys have
like,
told us
after
about the
like
demon
this
child?
sixth wall, he's actually going to open his eyes, give out a frustrated, fairly large roar, and just climb the first building that's next to him, and just start freaking going rooftop ways.
God's Cole, what the hell?
Son of a bitch.
I'll follow after him. Just try and kill
I'm
him, I
I'm
guess.
not. I can try and
I
track
will
him
follow
though.
from the streets.
Yeah, guys, just stay
Yeah.
on the street. I'll sing and just follow my voice.
Drolin will look up and say, I hope the garrison doesn't shoot him. Here's an orc.
So you guys run through the somewhat bustling street. It is now morning time. And while it's still rather early, dwarves are very industrious folk. And the streets are starting to fill up with people going to and fro, and you have to kind of run past people, and you generally run past a lot of dwarves that are looking up at the roof, muttering to themselves about orcs and elves. And,
Singing elf.
yeah, the singing elf.
Hopping from roof to rooftop.
And
That's our
no one stops you guys, but you do hear everywhere you go. There's just muttering and people like saying, "Well, can you believe how rude they are?" and all that stuff. So you make your way through or over depending on who you are, through the city streets towards a section of the palace. And Dwalin, you would start to realize this as you get closer. You're headed towards the city dungeon, where they keep the criminals, from the lightest criminals, like they stole something, to those on death row kind of criminals.
Seems reasonable.
And eventually, you will make your way there. And I basically, when you get there, there is a gate with dwarves in front of it, because it's not exactly the place that you can just walk into at your leisure.
Cole's going to try to walk in with Bleacher.
Finn will stop him or attempt to.
Okay.
Hi, sorry. Could we go in there?
The dwarves look at you and then say, "No."
Well, we're on like official business here. We're the champions. We're here to save the day. And stuff. Oh god, I hope the others get here soon. I don't know what I'm talking about.
The dwarf looks at you again and says, "No."
Okay. So there's nothing I can do to get in there, is what you're trying to tell me.
The dwarf next to him kind of like shakes his head and says, "These are the city dungeons. No outsiders are allowed through here."
Great. Well, oops.
Cole is going to let out a heavy sigh, look around and see if there's anybody else behind him at this point.
All right, and I'll say at that time, Pearson, you were doing something while this was going on?
Yeah, I
or-
just wanted to know. I wanted to do something once we arrived there. I just wanted to see if we were there yet.
Yes,
If
I
we're
would
not,
say
I
that.
will hold on to it.
I would say that the rest of the group, caught up right about the time where you hear the dwarf say, "This is a city dungeons. Outsiders are not allowed through."
Oh, okay. Then Pearson will say, he'll turn to Drawlin and say, "I'm not really one talking to guards, but these are your people. Do you think you could convince them as a matter of urgency?"
Burnerator, was there something you wanted to do?
No, that what Inferno just said was what I wanted to do.
Basically, the
Yeah,
same
great
fucking
mind
time,
thinks
but
alike,
with,
baby.
Like,
Boom!
like Pearson.
We
both
Meanwhile,
look at
Bitch
each
is
other.
making an ass of herself.
Like, I like to think that it's too anachronistic, but mentally, me and Keen are just high-fiving each other.
Drolin looks from one to the other and says, he like thinks about it and then offers a shrug. And,
Use some of your passion for your lost king as motivation.
Drolin loses the confused expression and looks very angry.
And then Pearson points towards the dwarves. Don't take it out on me. They're blocking the way.
Drolin clanks forward. Fedian, Cole, if you could move just a few inches, please.
Sure.
Cole will take one large step to the side.
Then we'll mimic that movement.
Thank you. Hello. And Drolin offers a cold smile so covered in blood and gore that he is, along with bits and pieces from the ruins of the building that we've explored. Yes, hello. I am Drolin, the Fire Excalibur. You may have heard of me. I killed the golem pretending to be our king last night.
We've heard of you.
Fantastic. Glad you have. Now, I came here with the outsider champions of Lady Selene to enlist the aid of the dwarves, and much to my surprise, the dwarves, my people, had become complacent and allowed the invaders to infiltrate them. My king is either missing or dead, and I am very tired of looking for him. Now, I have reason to suspect that information about that is right on the other side of that gate, because I very much love my king, having served him and his family for decades, and having acted as an unofficial emissary between Moonhelm and the Alanasi Forest. Now, in my current condition, I don't think I can take that much, so, as a polite demand, if you could open the gate and allow us 5 through. Otherwise, I might think that you're in league with the demons, perhaps even golems yourselves. And I have killed... How many has it been, Pearson? Drawing will...
17.
Right. And smashed how many evil altars located in the Sacred King's Temple?
2.
2. So, sure I could spend time go talk to the advisor, bring him here, then he'd yell at you because I have the authority and passion and really the prestige required to demand this of you. But if you'd like to settle this another way, by all means, Ardana here is still fresh.
While this is going on, you do start to see a crowd of dwarves start to gather by the commotion that's being made. Not too many, but there's about 10 or so that have just kind of stopped on the street, kind of wondering what's going on and looking around. And the guard to the right looks at Dwalin and politely, and to everyone else in the group, it sounds very polite. To Dwalin, who has spent his entire life among dwarves, this sounds incredibly cold. And he says, "Outsiders aren't allowed in the dungeon, sir."
So there's like a gate here, like it holds like the gate shut?
Yes, the gate itself does not appear to be locked, but it is closed, and the two dwarven guards are in front of it.
Would it be possible that during Drawlin's conversation, not counting the small interjections that I added, would it be fair to say that I would have filled in Finn and Cole, and I believe Keen, about Fabrizio and that whole situation, so they are completely in the know?
I think that would be a fair assessment. I would say that might be something a bit better roleplay, simply because his speech wasn't that long. You could the information you give them could take a while, so I'd be curious to see exactly how much you get to them. You know what I mean?
We'll wait for another point to discuss that in character. But for now, I think Drellin has something up his sleeve.
I would definitely say that it is more than reasonable that at the very least you could say we ran into, you could tell them the basics. You definitely have time for that.
I could say, don't worry about Lady Celine. She turned out to be an illusion.
Yeah.
Outsiders aren't allowed. Outsiders aren't allowed.
Drallin begins taking menacing steps towards the guards, not with Ardana held, but his plate gauntlets extended.
Were outsiders allowed when demons killed my king? And you dare to stand here in my way?
And Drallin's face becomes completely flushed with rage.
The crowd that has gathered around you guys begins to take steps back at the rage that the dwarf is starting to show. And the guards in front of you look hesitant, but they kind of grip their weapons a little tighter and look at each other like they're not sure, but they do stand firm.
That's great. Drallin is not going to lift his axe, but he will bull rush tackle them into that gate.
Okay. You know what? No, we'll do it this way. Because, what is Dwallin's strength?
Let me check here just to confirm. It is a 20.
Okay. Yeah. We'll do this, because there's always a chance someone could roll a 1 or something. Give me, basically a roll to hit their AC. You know what? Just roll a d20, not a 1, because with that bonus, you'd pretty much have to roll a 1 to fail this. Okay. So here's what happens. You bull rush into the guard with such force that you lift him off his feet, and you and he together blow through the gate. The gate swings back, and the second you cross the threshold of the gate, the strangest thing happens to your character. The guard in front of him is not there anymore. The city noise has completely stopped. And as your character himself, he feels instantly like he just woke up. Like he'd been in half a daze, even though he didn't realize it. Like the colors are suddenly more colorful, and the air is suddenly crisper, and you couldn't even tell there was a difference before. But right now, the second you did this, the second you move past those gates, you feel like you had been living in a haze, and now you're not.
Drallin immediately shifts from rage to outright confusion.
It is clear, and it should be made clear to everyone else on the other side of the gate. What you see is Dwalin tackle a guard through the gate, and the guard sprawls on the ground.
Oh, I think that's our cue.
Let's go!
And, yeah, Pearson will go through the.
And
Yeah,
we'll hop
and
after
hole.
Pearson.
Cole will not have any of anybody else say that this door is closed to him anymore. It's clearly open.
A literal interpretation.
It is true. It is clearly open. So the same thing overcomes each one of you as you pass basically the threshold of the gate. The same thing I described for Dwalin happens to you. You feel like you just woke up. Everything's more vivid. And the noise behind you has completely stopped.
So what's around us in this new, vivid, crisper world?
You are standing in the courtyard of the dungeon. There's walls and then a door that leads down. There's no one in the courtyard. If you were to turn behind you, you see a ghost town. You see streets and buildings and not a single living soul. And what's more than that, you see food on carts that is rotting. You see trash in the streets that looks like it's been there for days.
I'm starting to think that it wasn't just the king that's missing, but this entire town.
What the hell is going on? First,
Yeah.
wait, so Lady Celine wasn't real. The whole cellar thing wasn't real.
Drolin angrily looks at Cole, unable to process this. Find your friends!
I feel that our gnome friend might be around here. Knowing that you guys are real, at least gives me some confidence that the rest of this might be doable.
You also, Cole, when you pass through it, the signal, for lack of a better term, the feeling you were following, it didn't get stronger. It still feels like it's getting weaker, but it felt more real. It felt much easier to see.
Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely tell that it leads into the dungeon and down the steps. It's safe to say everyone's following?
That's a fair assumption, yes.
All right, you guys follow him down the steps and all the way down to the dungeon, and when you get to the lowest level of the dungeon, you go into a room at the bottom chamber, and what you find in there is this. You find Fergal, the gnome who had led you there. His body has been horribly tortured. It is twisted and broken, and he's being held in the arms of Guy, who sits cross-legged holding his friend with his head down. And when you come in, Guy looks up, and he very softly says, "Fergal, Guy thinks it worked." And Fergal's eyes open, and with a great effort that causes him pain, he tries to sit up, and it says, "You felt it. I knew you would."
Sorry it took me so long.
Fergal shakes his head. "It's amazing you felt it at all."
Pearson's gonna take one of his champion healing potions and move over to Fergal with it.
Fergal is actually going to gently push your hand away and say, "That potion will not help me now, nor would I want it."
Why would you say such?
Fabrizio, we've been under his spell from the moment we entered the gates. You've been far easier to control than me, and he knew it. So he captured me. He was not kind when he tried to break me and found he couldn't. The things he did to me, no potion is going to heal. And what I went through, I don't think I would want it.
Before you slip away, do you know where Fabrizio is? Do you know where the king is?
He shakes his head and he says, "No, but I know one who would." I am dying. But if I sacrifice the rest of my life to my goddess, I can be her avatar for a brief time. She would know. She must know how to beat him.
Pearson will look over to the rest of the party.
Cole is, of course, welling up with tears at this point.
A question: have you told us about Fabrizio yet?
Yes,
Yeah, we did.
we'll say at least plenty of time during the walk down the dungeon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, perfect. Oh, okay. All right, great. Well, it seems like you already made your mind, Fergal. So all I can do is thank you.
He shakes his head and he says, "This war demands sacrifice from all of us. If I can help, I do so gladly." And with that, he will say goodbye to Guy, who's in tears. And he'll call over Cole.
Mm-hmm.
And does Cole go over there, or?
Yes.
Okay. He would say, "I wish I could have taught you more, but you know enough to keep learning. You've always been a friend to my people, so thank you."
Cole nods.
And with that, he will close his eyes, and for a brief moment, nothing happens. It's silent, it's quiet. And after a moment, Fergal's eyes open again, and white light has replaced the pupils in them. And in an instant, standing before you is, I don't have a picture because honestly I couldn't find one that did it justice. A lady in white. She is red-haired, with flowing locks down her back, in a dress that is as white as snow. And just being in her presence makes it feel like the dirt and stress and grime of combat begins to wash away from you. And everyone, before we continue, regain 2 recoveries and reroll for any magical items that you do not currently have charged, that you can charge.
I think it's just my ring, and yeah, because I did succeed on my belt. So, ring! Okay.
Bracers, then ring.
I'm gonna spend those 2 recovery you gave me right now because I'm hurt. Oh wait, you're not done yet. Okay.
Well, no, I didn't realize you hadn't healed already. Yes, so spend the 2 recoveries that we just gave you.
I'm so hurt. I'm only 22 out of 79 hit points. It hurts so bad.
And
All right.
You are mechanically obligated to heal yourself up to above staggered if you can.
Exactly. The mechanics demand it. You heard it. All right, so I recovered 26 and 32. Ooh, I like that.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
All right. And after a brief moment, she looks at all of you, and she speaks in a voice that is at the same time strong and compassionate. And it's a voice that you remember. It's the voice that spoke to you on the day the portals opened, that brought, well, everyone except for Dwalin, of course, brought you back in time to experience what happened to the world before. And she says in a very clear voice, "It has been a long time, my champions. You have suffered much, I can see, and I am sorry."
Not as sorry as Azale will be.
Yeah.
She nods and she says, I know that it can look dire, but you have done far more than any other plane of existence I have seen. He is worried for the first time. He has sent Fabrizzo to delay you. He has sent other lieutenants to kill you, and that hasn't worked. So this time he tried a new strategy. Fabrizzo's purpose was to keep you in this town for as long as possible, chasing nothing, fearing everything, and distrusting eventually even each other. I am glad to see that his attempts have been less than successful. And with that, she cocks her head and she looks at you and she says, or have they? Can you trust that I am who I say I am and not simply another illusion?
Pearson will shrug and be like, to be honest, no, but we're not really in a place to... Either you are who you say you are, or we have nowhere else to go and we'll just continue to wander. So regardless, we're screwed. We have to just have faith that you are who you say you are. Your voice sounds familiar. Your words sound sweet, but true intentions, who really knows?
She nods and she says, an honest answer. But what I am about to tell you requires more than simple belief. You must trust. And with that, she walks up to Pearson first and smiles at him and says, Pearson Cullimore, the man who is an extreme in every case, be it fighting or raising a family or having friends. You, most of all, have difficulty trusting. I will grant you a boon. And she places a hand on you. And you don't feel any different, except that what she says resonates in you as well as without. And she says, 4 times in your life, you will be able to read the thoughts of another just once. Words can have different meanings. They can be false. Thoughts are always pure. Use them wisely.
All right, I will wait until she's done with everyone else before I do my thing.
Okay. She will move to Keen next, and she will stare at him for a bit, and then she will widen her eyes in surprise and say, is that what you truly want?
He'll raise an eyebrow.
And she will actually throw her head back and laugh and say, it is refreshing in a world torn by war to find such simple and honest love. I will give you what you ask for, Keen, but understand it will not be necessarily the gift you think it is. And with that, she will touch Keen. And it's hard to describe Keen, but just like you, as a person, instinctively know that you are not, say, a horse. Keen instinctively can feel that he is not a human. And when Keen opens his eyes next, they are blue. They look like the eyes of a dragon. And with that, hang on a second. Yes, thank you. I was
Yes,
trying to
you're
find
welcome.
that, and I couldn't find it.
And I'll post it to chat as well.
So his eyes look like this. And with that, she smiles and she says, it will take time for you to learn to be what you are. And I do not suggest you attempt changing while still under Fabrizzo's control. I do not know what would happen.
He will nod and mutter, "Thank you."
And with that, she'll move on to Cole. And, Cole, out of character. We don't really have a thing yet for you. Have you thought of something, or...?
We can go with what we set as the default.
Refresh my memory.
Alright. Should I just tell you? Because it'll take a while for typing.
I remember. The knowledge thing, yes?
Right.
Okay. She looks at Cole, and she smiles and she says, "My little forest orc, what could I possibly give you to earn your trust that I am me?"
Cole will be almost inconsequential with just like he's ravaged with tears at this point.
With that,
he has a hard time speaking at this point.
With that, then, she will put a hand under his chin and lift up his face, because she is very tall, to meet hers and say, "Mourn not for your friend. He was one of my most devoted servants, and he has sacrificed much for me to come here. Rest assured and be at peace in your heart that he will find the peace he sought." And with that, she'll say, "I will give you the only gift that I know to give you, that of knowledge." And inside your mind, it's as if a piece of the puzzle that was missing suddenly connects. You've been, for lack of a better term, a daredevil your entire life. You've taken risks. You've done dangerous things. You've enjoyed it, and you've become very skilled at it. But you're by no means a master of the craft. But all of a sudden, things seem to fit. This little piece that didn't make sense to you suddenly does, and because that does, everything else just seems to make more sense. You understand better how and who you are, and you understand how to do dangerous things a little bit more safely. And it's simply a knowledge that is ingrained in you. And get a +1 to your background on Daredevil.
All right.
And with that, she'll move on to Finn. And then she'll look down at Finn and say, "And what could I give you?"
Finn doesn't say anything. She just is staring straight at the eyes of the goddess. Strahlen wanders behind me, and I kind of move forward.
She looks at you for a while and then says, "You carry so much guilt you should not. The lives of Whitebridge were not yours. Their deaths are not on your hands, though I know my words mean little. However," and she puts a finger under your chin and lifts up your face, smiling at you, "I cannot have a champion forever hanging her head in shame. Know this. The day the portals opened, reality itself was torn apart. The souls that lost their lives at Whitebridge currently hang in a limbo, unable to move on to where everyone else goes when they die. If I had the power to fix it now, I would, but with Azil here, with the balance thrown asunder like this, I cannot. But I make you this promise. Beat Azil, restore the balance, and I will restore the lives that were lost in Whitebridge that day."
Oh, good. This isn't just like mind speaking. Like she's
No,
saying that
everyone
out
hears
loud?
this. Yeah, everyone hears this.
Okay, Pierce is taking
Oh.
more interest in that. All right, please continue.
Finn is just standing there, just staring, and she'll kind of nod her head.
She will, Aishir will look a little sad and say, "Understand. I cannot bring back to life those who have lost their lives after that day. But I can at least right that wrong. I do not want you to walk through the rest of your life already having given up it. If you are to beat Fabrizio and indeed Azil, you must find purpose again."
Thatch will kind of look away and then take a moment and then look back and nod her head again.
And with that, lastly, she will look at Dwalin and move towards him and say, "My dear dwarf, you have been with this party such a short time and yet have given your all. What boon could I grant you to prove that I am not a simple illusion?" And out of character, Grim, if you really can't think of anything, I can kind of do the same thing I did with Cole. A background of your choice, I can give you a +1 increase in it. But I am open to any ideas.
Well, Dralin says, "I don't want anything from me. My life has been devoted selflessly to others. And what I saw outside... Goddess, where are my people?"
She nods, and then she says, "Then perhaps my gift to you can be answers." And with that, she will walk back away from everyone a little bit, and she will say, "This will not be easy to accept at first. The people of Amgalir are trapped below the palace in the mines. Fabrizio was sent here to prepare for you and to prevent the dwarves from joining your cause. I do not know if Azil planned for you to come here when you did, or if he is simply cautious. But Fabrizio has been here for many months." And then she says, Fabrizio's power is to control what you see, what you feel, what you smell. He took control of your king and convinced him that the volcano was going to erupt, that his people were in danger. Convinced him so thoroughly that your king spoke to his people and, worried for their safety, urged them to take shelter in the mines. And your people, even though they couldn't see what their king saw, trusted in him so much that they followed his wishes. And once they were in the mines, Fabrizio's minions locked them inside. As we speak, they are starving slowly to death. Your king is with them."
Before we go to help those people, I think I shall test something out, Goddess. Clearly, if you are Fabrizio or another illusion, nothing will come to my mind. But if the gift you gave me is true, then I have to ask myself, dare a mortal peer into the mind of a goddess?
With that, she laughs sweetly and says, "My mind is open to you, Pearson Cullimore, if you are prepared to look."
And then Pearson pauses for a moment. He says, "Like, you won't drive me insane, will you? It won't be like, because I've never, the divine."
She laughs again and she says, "I would never do that to you. But the mind of a goddess is vast, and it will not be easy to see it."
Well, like you say, I'm a passionate man. If I do something, I give it my all. And with that, brain piercing goddess time.
So you peer into her mind. And I'll even let you add a little flavor text as to what exactly you do. I know it's more of an instinctual thing, but you can flavor it how you like.
Okay.
The first thing you are hit with when you look into her mind is vastness. Vastness of space, of time, of land, of reality, of power. And I need you to take 1d6 psychic damage for me.
Okay.
But as
Lied to me. No, she didn't.
as
Good,
as
only
the first waves of it wash over you, you begin to be able to focus and coalesce, and what you see is the image of a girl. She looks much younger than the goddess you see standing before you, and she looks quite mortal. And she is standing next to a log cabin on the grasslands as people from the village below her tell her of a war that's coming. And then you see her a little older, wearing armor and leading people into battle. And then you see her in robes, trying to heal those who have been wounded in a battle that has raged for many decades. And then you see her standing in front of a horde of monsters you cannot even fathom, injured and wounded and desperate, and yet still standing firm. And then you see her wake up in a palace built of light. And you see her being told or understanding that for her sacrifice and for her deeds, she has been raised to the level of goddess to watch over and care for the people. And with that, the images stop and you return to the bottom of the dungeon.
Cool. I don't think I want to put too much flavor into that. I do appreciate the visual message, but in my interpretation, if one were to ever even just glimpse a fraction of the divine, I think that image itself would still exist, of course, right? Because it's as you described. But I think what will really convince, I think we're going to give Pearson almost like a religious experience, which he has never had before, which is someone so devout, they just don't see, they don't just hear, they don't just feel, they just know from the top of their head to the bottom of their feet. It's like just a feeling that metaphorically grips them in the heart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, once the vision is over, people looking at Pearson will notice tears streaming down his face, which this tough mofo don't cry all that much. And he'll just wipe them away and he'll say, "She's the real deal." And of course his eyes will be stark white, just little tiny pupils and whiteness and that type of thing, because I think there should be some sort of physical effect for, doing that. It'll represent the 1 point of damage I took. Oh man, 3 times, eh? That's gonna be interesting.
3 times in your life.
I can dig it. I like it. All right. That's it for me.
All right. Oh, and by the way, I should point this out just to be clear to everyone. That does not count PCs unless the PC consents to it.
I'm never going to use it on a PC.
So,
I will never use it on a PC.
Just so no one's worried.
Does Jarek like me?
You know what? That's the wrong question. Does Pearson give a shit if Jared likes him? No.
Look into his own mind, if I may answer.
See, now if Pearson was anything like me, I'm a high self-monitor. I'd use that, in one day. I just want to know if people like me for real. But
Jeez.
Pearson, he's what we call an extremely low self-monitor, so we're good. He'll also never use it on Carla either. Never in a million years. Or his kids, honestly. Anyways, that doesn't matter.